I've got a feeling this is the first podcast we've done where you're going to get a bit giddy.
Get a big what?
I should be so lucky. He said get giddy.
Shouldn't we all, James?
Getting giddy with it. I'm getting giddy with it.
A girl can dream. Na na
Yes.
na 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 na.
Oh, what a week.
What a week.
What a week.
Yeah, there we go.
Should we get James to prepare us in?
Do you know what? I've been pronouncing it June.
Well,
Oh my gosh,
like my
that was so
mother-in-law.
funny.
Well, when I'm texting people, I go, oh, would you send me your review of June 2?
Yeah.
So it's automatically coming up as June 2nd.
James said to me the
Well,
other
like
day.
your voice texting.
Yeah. When I'm driving. Hi.
James said to me the other day, I haven't seen you since June. And I was like, you literally saw me yesterday.
June.
Oh, dearie me.
Right, who's preparing us in?
Well, the king of the papas.
You.
Prince Papa. You.
Papa, 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 papa.
Popcorn Pundits.
Podcast.
That's the one.
Episode what?
48.
It's 20.
Is it?
It's 20, June.
2020.
Yeah.
I'm James Michael Mulcronin. This is the Popcorn Pundits weekly refresher of what you should be watching at the cinema. Who are you?
Oh, we normally do names one after each other.
Yeah,
and
no.
then you made it
I
like,
just mix it up.
you made it like it was your podcast, and
I'm
we're
not.
just here to like fill in the numbers.
Wait,
Going.
it's not. Bye. Yes, Peter, we've finally done it.
Awesome. Come take your seat on
Yeah,
the rightful
thank
seat
you.
on the sofa.
It's not my podcast, Mum. It's all of ours podcasts. That's right.
My name's Peter James Ungar.
Hi, Peter James Unger.
I'm Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay.
Good.
You're in a weird mood today, so I'm scared.
Well, you came in saying you're in a weird mood
I'm
as
in a
well.
very weird mood.
I'm in a normal mood. So
It
this...
was the certain Golden Arches breakfast wrap that I had this morning that's put me in a weird mood.
Golden showers. Arches, sorry. Arches.
Moving on.
Right.
What's this podcast and why are we here?
This is your Popcorn Pundits. We like to ensure that you get the best information possible about the latest releases at the cinema. We also like to highlight a film that we've seen together at the cinema. And Peter likes to tell me what he thought about the homework I've given him from my treasure chest of secret films I've got hidden away in my back pocket.
And there's always some kind of extra connection to what's going on.
There is,
You're
and
very-
there's no disappointment this week as well.
Good, excellent.
Exactly.
Your decisions are very cognitive. There
I like that word.
Okay, well there are
write
connections
that
between
down.
what we're doing and what we're seeing all over the place.
Native.
So you can maybe love and
You
hate
missed
the
an
same
eye
actor
out.
in the same week.
Native. Nice. Okay, week 20.
Yeah, and my major role is to read the top 10, and this
That's
is
right.
the top 10 as of the 1st of March 2024.
Would you like to let us know what's going on in the UK at the moment?
I'm going to start at
Petey
15
Pete. Why?
because it's Argyle and it's dropped out of the top 10.
Hey! And they deserve it, quite frankly.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go to 14,
Yeah?
which is Mean Girls. That's dropped out of the top 10 as well.
That didn't deserve it. That
Yay!
didn't deserve it. In fact, I've literally just bought tickets for the live show in November.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'll definitely watch it.
Are you going to go wearing pink?
Of course. Of course.
You can't not, can
Are
you?
you
Yeah,
going
exactly.
on a Wednesday?
Even if I'm not going on a Wednesday, I wear my Wednesday pants, so that's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Number
Sorry.
10.
Yes.
Sami Sway Pozjatek,
Yes.
which is a new Polish film which is just entered
Could you
the
say
top
that again,
10.
please?
I think not.
No, I think you said it quite well.
Yeah.
So it stands for On Our Own, The Beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a colourful story which minor mischief is intertwined with life's milestones.
What day of the week would you go and see this, James?
Tuesday afternoon.
Perfect.
Apparently-
perfect days, number 8.
Yes.
Characteristic characters combined with a great story and background will take the viewer on a sentimental but also thrilling and humorous journey. A bit like the Popcorn Pundits.
Sounds a bit generic, doesn't it?
It's made $2.6 million so far. And that's a fact.
Is it?
Yeah, I
How
didn't
much
just
did
make
it-
that up.
How much did it cost them to make, though?
2.7.
Number 9, Perfect Days.
What's that about?
So this is a Japanese movie, and I do think we should go and see this.
Perfect
so
Days.
It's about a Japanese toilet cleaner.
Yeah.
Is
and
it?
He basically
You've got my attention
has-
already.
So as far as I can
It's
gather,
Yeah.
it's a repetitive day-by-day movie of a man's life who has habits and things that he follows, and something, I don't think it even dramatically comes in to interfere with it, but I think a relationship comes into his life.
What's it called again?
It's called Perfect Days.
So it's Hiromeya, my apologies if that's mispronounced, feels content with his life as a toilet cleaner in Tokyo.
Right.
Outside of his structured routine, he cherishes music on cassette tapes,
Yeah.
book reads, and
Yeah.
takes photos. Through unexpected encounters, he reflects on finding the beauty in the world.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it
Does
does.
actually.
It does sound
Really?
amazing.
It's a Sunday movie, though, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a Sunday movie.
We are going to have to hunt it down.
Okay.
And like number 8, which is The Zone of Interest, which absolutely desperate to see and still can't find it on anywhere. What are you doing,
He's
Jason?
hunting it down.
Just
I
making
think.
sure
Oh,
that
I
we're
thought-
on.
I thought you were hunting it down.
You see
actually.
whether it's a square or a circle.
Zone of Interest is the Auschwitz one, isn't it?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Mark, we have to wait until it's streaming. Unfortunately, I think it's got to that point now.
Number 7 is The Man Jummel Boys. Over to Nikki.
So this is a group of friends faces a
Where's
string...
this from?
It's Indian.
India.
Okay, right.
A group of friends faces a string of unexpected misadventure on a holiday trip to somewhere in India. I'm
Right.
not gonna
Sounds
try
like
it now.
Bleaton. It sounds like the famous 5, doesn't it?
Number 6, Wonka. Yay!
Yay!
It's out of the top 5.
Number 5 is Madam Web. That should be out of the top 5.
That should be next door to Argyle, shouldn't it?
It's
And
not.
Swim
It's,
Fan.
no one's going to see it. $3.9 million. That's terrible.
And how much does it
Number
cost to make?
4. I don't know. I can't remember. Number 4 is Migration, which made £17.5 million. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? You can see why they make these.
Cheeky ducks.
Yeah. And Migration. That's why they called it Migration.
Because they're moving house, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me.
They've had a bet. They're not being gazumped. They're fine.
Number 3.
Yes.
Wicked Little Letters.
Yay!
Yay!
Timothy Spore was on 6 Music today, and
Was
he was
he?
absolutely delightful.
He's like half the man he used to be, isn't he?
Apparently, it is 40 years since Our Feeder's Own Pet was on television.
That doesn't surprise me.
40 years.
Number 2, Bob Marley, One Love.
Yeah.
And number 1
Yes.
is June the 2nd.
Well,
June Pat Dun.
Dune pas deux.
Dune.
Dune pas deux.
Oh,
That actually sounded quite
and
good.
you said Jipadou. As in like Gerard.
I know. Anyway, I don't like to peek too early. So,
You don't say peach to it.
Yeah.
I thought he said that too.
so there we go.
Very weird.
It's our that's our top 10 of the. So what out of the top 10? What are we recommending people to go and see?
the
at
top
the top 10?
5.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, apart from
So June Part 2 we're going
Yes.
to review, so we're not going to mention that one. Bob Marley, One Love, it's a 50-50. If you're a Bob Marley fan, you probably want to go and see it. Wicked Little Letters.
definitely.
I
Go
saw
and see
it.
it.
9.9.
Oh, it's
for me.
so cool, isn't it?
9.9.
It's just a real heartwarming belly laugh.
Yes.
It's just absolutely
But
brilliant.
quite dark in places as well.
Yeah, that's why I loved it.
Yeah, all good comedy has its dark side, isn't it? I think.
That's why we're so funny.
Migration, I haven't seen it, but apparently it's amazing.
Yeah, I've
Madam
heard
Web, I
that.
have seen it, and that was a waste of life. and Wonka's still brilliant.
It is still brilliant.
It's going to be in the chart next Christmas.
Wow, it deserves to be.
It does.
Yeah. So that's 2 extra Christmas movies we've got so far. We've got The Holdovers and Wonka.
Yeah, we're going to have to make December longer.
Maybe they could like add it on to like a leap year type thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's your so these are the things that you need to be watching at the cinema, your local cinema. Go to the cinema, support your local cinema, etc., etc., etc. Be nice to people in the cinema as well. That's what I say.
What, did somebody not be nice to you?
No, just saying be nice to people in the cinema. Everybody's nice to
Only
me.
people at the cinema, though.
don't
Don't
know.
worry about anyone else.
Well, I haven't seen James at the cinema for weeks now.
I
We
know.
keep sitting
You keep-
miles apart.
I
and
keep
the only time
arranging it. But
He books his tickets, and then on the app he says,
I move
if
it.
someone with this surname.
That's it.
just don't let me
But
know.
then I do get to see him when he goes for his little wee stops, and then I
Exactly.
go woo.
Why?
like
Are
in
you
the
hanging
cinema.
out in the toilets or something?
Yeah. Especially
Anyway.
for Madam Web.
So that's our top 10. Our next section is the review of the week, and then obviously we're going to Peter's homework. Peter McPete, we went to see Dune Part 2.
June the 2nd.
Dune Part 2.
Dune.
Dune Part 2, and it was the original, the last instalment, Part 1, was 2021.
Yeah.
It didn't feel that long ago, did it, really?
I think it felt that long ago.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Didn't to me that surprised me how long ago it was.
I reckon we've seen the trailer.
Yes.
So when you're saying Dune Part 2, think of the Tunes advert years ago when the guy went to the train station. Tunes, it's Dune. Yeah?
Elocution lessons, I
Yeah,
like it.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Dune
Trying to
Part
teach a dyslexic.
2.
He's flogging a dead horse.
We've seen the trailer for this film, or the trailers for this film, with every film that we've seen this year. And it's,
And you'd think you would have got enough of it.
But it just got me giddier and giddier.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And we won't let people know whether we were disappointed or not disappointed until the end of our review.
I've written my score for this film in the tiniest font ever, so you can't cheat and read it like you do every week.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
I want to throw some words at you. Gorgeous saffron delight.
Is this the beginning of your
Yeah.
review? Or is
Are
this,
you,
is this like a
Nigella Lawson?
This is me talking about you. No, seriously, I would consider a gorgeous saffron delight.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're talking about the cinematography.
That's right. A character development, however, was incredible, I thought, compared to the first one. The gutter demonic monk chorus gleefully continued from the first one to the second one.
In place of a soundtrack, almost.
Yes, I agree. Interesting twists and turns in reference to plot and characters and what
Stop
they
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, stop there.
yeah,
yes.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I loved all the floating in it. There's lots of floating in it.
There's tons of floating.
Yeah, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
And it's not. And usually, when they make a character or a human or a character float, it can look a little bit staged, but it
Or
looks
CGI.
yeah,
The
it
silver
look-
lining.
It looks so beautiful.
Well, that's just every bit of the cinematography in this film was
And
absolutely beautiful.
Religion. That's what else I've put down.
Okay, so you're
These are
missing
words.
you're missing the one major word which should be in capital letters underlined
Yeah.
and with exclamation marks at the end of it.
Yeah.
Which is noisy.
Do you think so?
So we went to a normal large screen in a normal town multiplex.
Yeah.
My gooch vibrated pretty much the whole way through the first half an hour.
You have got exceptional glutes at the moment, though.
It was. That's what I said.
They're interactive.
You
My
did
chair.
not say glutes,
I did
by
not.
the way.
My chair was vibrating
Yes.
through the noise and the grandeur of sound.
Yes.
Was majestic.
That's
It was
me.
incredible.
That's a Christopher Nolan trademark normally.
Yeah, it was. Well, anyway, it needed to be on your list
Vibration.
of words. Yeah, absolutely.
Vibration. Yes,
So
indeed.
take us through the beginning of this. Where are we at the beginning?
Well, you get a really quick recap at the start. Do you know what I really liked?
The
At
words.
Yeah, at the very even before the screen came up, even before the plane going around
it's on a black screen before anything started.
It just said, "If you control the spice,
You control it. Wow.
yes, everything."
Isn't that the opening to Spice World the movie?
Yeah.
Almost definitely.
Pretty much.
Zigga zigga zigga, they said. So you're right. So at the very beginning of this film, if you haven't seen the first one, I think you do need to see the first one to see the second one. I think to be fair.
Have you watched the first one since the second one?
Yes.
Yeah.
3 times.
No, since we've seen the second one.
Do you know what? No, I haven't. Have you?
I did.
Did you?
I did, and I'm so pleased that I did, especially before this,
Ooh.
because you just realise that actually this is one film,
Yes.
beautifully spliced
I agree.
into two. I mean, the continuation is absolutely seamless.
Yeah. However, I did feel now before we get onto the plot and everything else and what we. The only fly in my ointment before we go on to the lovely things, the only fly in my ointment was I felt that certain characters changed, they swiveled on their pedestal so significantly, so much from one film to the other film. It took me a little while
To understand who they were.
well, not who they were, to catch up with their new perspective on
yeah,
things. Does
yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, you're talking about Javier Bardem.
But also not only him, but also, for instance, the what's his name? The wrestler.
Batista.
Yes. His personality changes slightly through it as well, because obviously the pecking order changed and so on and so forth.
Yeah, yeah.
So everybody's role kind of changed, just like moved over just slightly, because somebody else came in and the pecking order was all moved down. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, but that's still plot development, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah.
It's not like their characters changed in between movies.
No, but the time position between the first movie and the second movie is quite important.
Yeah.
For plot.
Yeah.
For the plot development, and I felt that the only true testament of time scale from first to second, and even the end of the second one, was the development of a child growing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
They give you a time
Gives
span.
you a timeline.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely right.
So, Peter McPete, would you like to give us a small rundown of what the plot was?
For Dune
yes.
2, Part
Yes,
2. So this is basically where Willy Wonka learns his Jedi skills, isn't it?
is.
Oh, I like that.
That is pretty much the first half of this movie.
Yes.
So Timothy Chalamet, who is Paul Atreides, they've gone out into the Spice Desert Plains, and they've met up with the Freemen and with most importantly with Chani, who's played by Zendaya.
Yep.
And they are trying to. They kind of form an allegiance, and they believe that Paul Atreides is this Jesus-like character.
He's the Messiah
He's the
on their
Messiah.
planet,
He's
yes.
he's the second coming of this greatness. And then
But you start to see a divide between several different groups within the planet, saying, "Well, I think."
Yes.
Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas
So
the first film, it was quite unanimous that they all thought, "Hang on a minute, it might be." And then by the time you come along to the second half of the story, little.
Well, yeah. So there was plenty of doubt as to whether Paul Atreides was the great coming in the first film.
That's right.
And during the second movie, it becomes more apparent to a certain number of people that he is.
Yes.
And for some that's a good thing, and for some that's not a good thing. Yeah. So that's a.
And even for him himself, he would, as a character himself, he would believe in it one minute, he would not believe it another minute, and so it would go backwards and forwards, because it's like Neo being the one. Who knew?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows?
Absolutely. So basically, the Freeman and Paul Atreides, they're basically fighting against the Harkonnens, who have taken over all of the spice mining on the planet. Forgot what that particular planet is called.
Spice Planet.
Spice World.
Spice World.
So he's learning his skills.
He is.
And we get to see the giant sandworms again.
Absolutely. Which are tremendous.
I'd say that's the only thing I wasn't quite sure about in this film, actually. The movement of the giant worms irked me somewhat.
It's important to be irked slightly, though.
They looked a little bit like an underground tube train. And,
Okay.
and I don't really understand the science of how they moved like that.
Well, they've got little legs.
No, they don't have
That's a centipede.
So we are at a stage where the Harkonnens decide to just leave the planet?
Not really, no.
No, no.
No,
They're fighting and fighting and fighting.
Exactly. There's fractions against them. It's almost like there's a terrorist group attacking them while they're trying to mine for the spice, and obviously the Freemans are actually doing a really good job at messing up the mining, basically.
Yes.
Yes.
And then parallel to this, we
To the
have...
point where the Empress stepped in and went, "I'm not having this."
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That did happen.
Yes.
And then parallel
See
to
this
this...
watch.
Wowzers, you cross-film references, brilliant. Fantastic. So Paul Atreides' his mother,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
throughout the whole of this, she is a pregnant lady.
She is.
And while she's with the Freeman, they decide to make her the new
I tell you exactly what they've turned it, Reverend Mother.
Reverend Mother.
Because the old Reverend Mother is about to pop her clogs, and they turn around to her and go.
And she's like she's like a wise woman or a.
Well, she's got certain powers as well.
Yeah,
we're not giving anything away because in the first film, it's obvious that she's got some like demonic witch type powers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then basically for the rest of the movie, we're kind of watching the development of Neo or Willy Wonka or
However, and it's very cleverly split between the storyline is very cleverly split between obviously the development of Timothy's character accepting or fighting against his predicament and the foreseeable future of whether he's the one or not, and then of course you've got Christopher Walken and Florence Pugh, the Emperor and the Princess, trying to move their chess pieces around to the point where they're back in control again, to the point where they have to employ a terrorist, to be sent down to the planet to start mixing things up slightly.
Correct.
Played by Austin Butler.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Who, quite frankly, gleefully surprised the living daylights out of me.
As in how?
Because I'll explain why. He was very good in Elvis, but quite frankly, he could walk in here tomorrow with a suit on and he'd look like Elvis. And if he put a slight southern twang to his voice, he would be Elvis. And well done, you.
Oh, I see what you mean. So you've seen him too recently in something else.
However, when he turns up with no hair, no eyebrows, with an extra 20 or 30 pounds on top of him, with a lot of anger inside him.
Did you believe that?
I did.
I thought it was absolutely sensational.
I think he was
absolutely amazing.
And there are reports to say that they're putting his character against the likes of Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
Which I can kind of see.
It was a brilliant bit of casting.
His confidence as an actor within that role was absolutely incredible.
But just look at him. I mean, he could play anything. I mean, he's beautiful, isn't he? I can't believe we've got this far and you haven't mentioned the fact there's a Skarsgård in it.
Skarsgård was in the last one.
Yeah, but we didn't review the last one.
No, the Skarsgård, Papa Skarsgård.
Papa Skarsgård.
Papa Skarsgård. His character in the first one was a lot more imposing, a lot more threatening, because obviously he was in charge, obviously. And then the pecking order just changed slightly, and Christopher Walken stepped in and went, see his watch, and said... And Papa Skarsgård went, you're the boss, I'm moving over. I'm still going to do my floaty bit. I'm still going to look a bit creepy. Do you know that it took him 8 hours to put his makeup on?
Yeah.
And he refused to do any CGI with it. He wanted to do it just purely prosthetically.
He floated, James. There must have been
No,
CGI.
he floated. Drones.
That's amazing.
Drones.
Yeah, 2 hours to remove every day, and he didn't drink anything.
Yes.
And took Imodium pills in order to avoid having to go to the bathroom during shooting days.
Wow, there we go. I think he's really good in this, and I actually prefer his character in this one than the last one. I kind of felt he was a more considered villainous character in this. I thought it was.
No, I think everybody had a really good stab at it. I think everybody had their character brought to the forefront. They shone. They grew, and then they mixed all together. I think it was glorious.
There's not a bad scene in this. There isn't a bad actor in this. There isn't. But no, it is done. It's perfect.
Yeah.
For me, so you always talk about what a film reminds you of in terms of a book or a stage play or a whatever. This is the closest I've ever been to a film feeling like I was reading the novel. It's the pace of it is it's beautiful. The pace of it is incredible.
Have you read the book?
Yeah, I read the book years and years ago. Okay. So I read it at the time when the original films came out.
Right.
So I don't really remember...
Sting was in it.
Exactly. I don't really remember reading it, but I remember enjoying it. And I remember when I saw the original film, I found the original film very, very slow and very, very, very
you
slow.
You probably saw it on ITV as well, didn't you?
Probably, yeah, with advert breaks and But no, watching this and the second one, I love the pace of this. It's not in a rush to cram story in.
Absolutely.
The story is told. Everything is told to its fullest the whole way through, and I love that.
Well, I think that is is it Dennis, the director?
Yes.
That is
Dennis
that is Dennis's sort of playing card. Really, his pace is always that little half step behind what you usually expect from a sci-fi.
Yeah.
Arrival is a prime example of that. Have
Yeah.
you seen Arrival?
No.
So I'll give you that in the future. The pace of it is so beautiful and so elegant. But it's still got action. It's not boring at all. So it's exactly the same with Blade Runner 2049. You know, there's those long, sweeping moments within the movie that really draws you in.
It's patient.
Yeah.
It's patient. It's intelligent. It's like
Exactly.
there's sometimes the not saying something actually is more powerful than the saying something. And
absolutely.
and I've got to say, Zendaya as an actress, as a facial actress, is incredible. I mean, there's quite a lot of close-up face shots of her, aren't there?
Looking moody.
Looking really moody, and
Yeah.
and her kind of take on Paul Atreides' rise to martyrdom is actually really interesting.
It was actually quite refreshing to see that character go in that direction,
Yeah,
and without giving anything away, and for not to be a cliche.
it was.
There's no cliches in this film at all. I don't think.
No, it's beautifully written and beautifully performed.
There's things that you wouldn't expect from a romantic element to it. There's things that you wouldn't expect from a action development into it as well. So yeah, it's and also there's certain parts of it that are incredibly low key. I mean, really, really low key.
Yeah.
To the point where the final scene where they're obviously fighting and there's obviously things that we can't go into too much without giving anything away. But it just seemed like they were all in one room. Does that make sense? It just seemed really low key, and all in one room. Go, okay, we're going to finish. We're going to finish. This is going to be the cherry in the cake of the movie, and we're all going to be in the same room, and something's going to happen. We can't.
Yeah, but we've seen a few films recently where I didn't have a clue where and when the ending was going to come.
Yes.
I knew exactly when Fade to Black was going to come in this. Like the second before it's Fade to Black, it's just like, and we are done.
Exactly.
And it's not a breath of fresh air. It's not a relief.
No.
It's just that is perfect.
But one thing I can say, 3/4 of the way through this film, and bear in mind it's almost 3 hours long. 3/4 of the way through this film, I didn't want it to finish. I wanted it to continue.
Yeah, me too.
All the way through.
Yeah, exactly.
If they turned around and said, we've made Dune 3, we haven't told anybody, you can watch another 3 hours, I would have nestled in.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quite
absolutely.
easily. Quite easily.
But to the extent that you're going to see this again tomorrow night.
I am indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, tagline,
Go for it.
long live the fighters.
Spice World, exactly.
Second tagline,
The fighters. Okay.
zigga zigga.
Yay!
Brilliant.
Film references for people. I always like to do a film reference. Obviously, Blade Runner for 2014.
Yeah, no, as soon as you said that, that's the pace we're talking about.
However, Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, well, yeah, Dusty and...
Yeah, but also the characters and there's elements of manicness in it that work really, really well, and it's not overly manufactured.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And finally, Chronicles of Riddick.
Haven't seen that.
You haven't seen it?
No, stick it on the homework.
Yeah, stick it on. That if you've liked the two Dune and Dune.
Say
If you like June the 1st and June the 2nd.
Yes, you might like June the 3rd. And Chronicles of Riddick is the second part of the Riddick sort of.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, but it is probably the best movie out of the trilogy, and it just has a very similar feel to that world. It could almost be a planet next to it, almost in that respect.
It was an absolute joy, wasn't it?
Well, absolutely, I agree completely.
So it cost $190 million to make.
And worth every single penny.
Well, apparently, because it took $182 million on the first weekend.
Wow,
That doesn't surprise
they
me.
could just close the books there, can't they?
Yeah.
So if you go to book this film,
Mm-hmm.
you don't just get to choose a day, you get to choose a screen,
Yes.
and then there's about 8 to 10 showings on each screen
Yeah.
at the moment.
It's saving
going
cinema at the
to
moment.
be
Yeah, it really
enormous.
Yes, it's saving cinema.
But
Which is
it
great.
should do because it's one of the best films
I
that's been
agree.
released in years.
I agree.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's the closest I think we've come to of a sci-fi film that is ticking
Perfect.
every single box.
It's close to
Ticking
perfect.
every single box.
Would you like some quick facts?
Some quick facts, and also we're on this week because it's such a gigantic movie, we've got a couple of reviews from our
We
listeners.
have, yes.
Yes, exactly.
So just on a quick fact,
Yes, please.
Austin Butler's character
Yes.
was described as the director, Dennis, I'm not going to try his name,
Yeah.
as a cross between a psychopathic killer,
Yep.
an Olympic sword master,
Yeah.
a snake,
Yep.
and Mick Jagger.
Oh.
Jagger had actually been attached to play the character in the failed adaptation in the 1970s. And Austin Butler didn't actually audition. He was offered the role while having a coffee with the director and trained for 4 months in Budapest using a fitness regime made by ex-Navy SEALs.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yep. I mean, they all were brilliant, but he, as the new character, he stepped up to the plate, didn't he?
100%.
And it actually premiered on the 40th anniversary of the original 1984.
Did it? And I know that Sting went to the preview, apparently.
He
Oh,
did,
really?
Yeah.
but he turned down playing a role in this movie.
Apparently they asked him to do a little cheeky little cameo, and he went, I don't know. Thank goodness for that. He would have got his flute out.
And it's 2 hours
So
and
Christopher Walken
46.
took it.
It's 2 hours 46, so we're stinging. God knows how long it would have
Yeah,
been.
We
exactly.
could mention Florence Pugh for a minute, couldn't we, really?
Well, we could do.
Just very briefly.
Yeah, before we go on to our sent-in reviews.
Because she is in everything at the moment, isn't she? And she's in everything, and you can understand why. I mean, she is absolutely captivating on the screen.
Her pace when she stepped in, and I mean, let's face it, she's not an overly established actor, and to bounce off Christopher Walken, that's big boots to fill.
Yeah.
Massive boots to fill, in
absolutely.
fact. So and I think Christopher Walken's role within this was elegant. And I'm really pleased he didn't do any of his Walken cliches. You know,
No.
God damn it! That's you know.
No, he's a very considered character in this, actually, isn't
Yes,
he? And,
absolutely. But done in a.
quietly powerful.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very, very well done. Nicky Mickey.
Yes, sorry,
Would
just
you-
quickly going back to Peter's point of
Yes.
the IMAX CEO actually said they ran out of seats while trying to screen this film.
Oh, right.
I'm not surprised.
So I actually heard some of the cast talking about this, and they basically said that this has been produced for IMAX cinema. So
Yeah.
it's 70mm. The sound and everything has been done for IMAX. So
Well, I'm looking forward to when the third one comes out. There will be a triple bill at the IMAX.
yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
So you've just dropped a clanger, haven't you? We weren't going to say that.
I realised that, and I just carried on talking.
So we can edit
we
this
can
out
edit it out,
afterwards.
it's fine.
We haven't edited
Um,
anything out
did
in
we
20
want-
episodes,
We're
and
not
now all
gonna
of a sudden...
No, we're good at
Did
that.
we want scores on the doors or do we want reviews? For
Reviews
the
first. Let's
listeners?
do reviews first.
Okay, so I'm going to try...
Unless they've put scores on their reviews, and then we should score first.
Well, no, because we're not going to add their scores, we only count your scores.
Okay, you choose, Nicky. You're in charge.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm going to try and play this one. This is from Lawrence. I'm going to try and hold it up to the mic.
Hi, Lawrence.
Oh, God. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
So, hi Popcorn Pundits, it's Lawrence here. I just thought I'd give you a quick bit of feedback on what I thought of Dune 2. I saw it on release day on Friday, really big fan of the first one. I saw it a few times at the cinema. I watched the first one again last week just in preparation for going to see the new one. I've also read the book a few times, which I can highly recommend. It's the book's much more layered and textured. And if you like the films and you want to go deeper, then I definitely recommend reading the books. What did I think about the film? As always the case, going to a cinema or going to a film like that with very, very high expectations. I like the way it picked up just straight off the bat of the first one. It literally led straight into that, which I thought was really great. I thought it was going to sort of go on a few months from that, but it didn't. And just the whole world that's been built, the way that the machines look is all amazing. I'd really love that from the first film, and there's obviously more of that in the second one around the harvesters, the spice harvesters and stuff. Obviously, the main scene running through the whole story is Paul, the main character, and his kind of transition into this kind of messiah role, which he's sort of given by the Fremen. And I think he really, Timothy Chalamet does a great job of really kind of painting that arc of that character, right? Which I won't spoil it, but it's a really nuanced performance. But I think it really kind of builds up, and there's some real barnstorming scenes in the last kind of third act of it. My only criticism would be I'd like to have seen more of the last sort of 15 minutes. I think they packed a lot in there. All good as the kind of climax of the film, but I think I'd have liked to see more of that, the sort of jousting between some of the main sort of protagonists in the story. But overall, loved it. Highly recommend it to everybody. I need to go again. And hope you're well, guys. Cheers, all. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Lauren.
What a brilliant review.
What a fantastic, Mr. Ratcliffe. Thank you very, very much for your review. Didn't give anything away, give 1 or 2 hints. And I think pretty much summed up exactly what we were talking about
I'm
as
worried
well.
for my seat. I've got to be honest with you. I think
I was just about to say.
he did a better job than we did.
Lawrence is the new
No, you
pundit.
did.
So no score from Lawrence.
No score from Lawrence. However, a thumbs up from Lawrence.
Yeah.
Go and read the book. We've also had a written review by another pundit listener,
Who was that by?
Mr. Doug Farewell.
Oh.
Would you like to read Doug's review,
Oh,
please?
goodness. Okay.
Yes.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Okay.
Can you do it in Doug's voice?
I don't know what that sounds like. Hello, I'm Doug.
That's not a joke.
So not done.
I don't know what he sounds like. Doug, voice message
it.
next
Yeah,
time.
that's exactly what he sounds like.
From start to finish, I was in awe of the vastness of the film, the sound, the visuals, the desert, and the universe. My enjoyment was tested by a guy sat next to me who had the biggest bucket of popcorn and loudest snacks possible. James, were you there?
No, I was way
Oh.
down the road, yeah.
Thankfully, he got through most of it during the trailers. It's a film that deserves to be seen again and again. There was so much detail which demands to be seen on the big screen with the best sound system. The low-tech thumpers and sandworms alone sucked you into the desert and were in stark contrast to the high-tech of the jaw-dropping military arsenal. My only criticism is that there wasn't enough time to appreciate all the talent on offer. The acting was top-notch, and I was left wanting more. Perhaps we will see more of Florence Pugh in part 3, We Live in Hope.
There we go. I think they've pretty much wrapped up exactly.
We don't need to do this anymore now. We just need to get...
But it's nice to hear that they had a similar viewpoint to us.
I've not heard a bad thing about it.
Well, you won't hear a bad thing about
Well, you
it.
don't know.
No, you just won't allow people to say a bad
Yeah,
thing
he
about
just
it.
doesn't. He's selective hearing.
Exactly.
I need your scores, boys.
I'm a 9.
Hey! I'm a 9.5.
Are you?
I'm a 9.5.
I thought that's where you would...
Collectively, that is 9.25.
9.25.
9.3.
Yeah. IMDb is 9.
Yeah, 9.3 is a fair score, I think.
So I'm right again. Brilliant.
You are always right, Mr. Peter McPete.
What's he right about?
I don't know. Anyway.
Anyway, so
you
that is our
enjoyed
review
another
of
film.
June 2.
You're getting better.
Yeah,
That was better.
thank you.
Anyway, Peter enjoyed another film this week, didn't he?
Well, that's to be found out, isn't it?
On a weekly basis, while Peter's at home, I like to ask Peter to watch a movie that I've probably seen a multitude of times, and I only give Peter recommendations of films he watches at home that I'm very confident that A, he hasn't seen before, B, I've adored personally, and C, is top notch.
And D will mess with his head.
Not necessarily, not always. It's a little bit of James coming round going, hi. This week's film was called Mother,
Yes.
from the same director from The Whale.
Yep. Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah,
And Black Swan.
Exactly. Peter McPete, what was the name of the film? And give us a rundown on what you thought about it.
So you've already told the name of the film
I
because this is my bit, and yet you've gate crashed it again. So I saw Mother,
Mother.
which I had to pay for
Yes.
on Prime.
Yes.
For £3.95.
Worth every single penny.
It's a coffee. It's not bad.
It's alright. I'm not saying it's anything. As a rental, it's actually
Yeah.
one of the cheaper rentals. So you said when you gave this to me as homework
Yes.
that this was basically released as a lockdown movie, yeah? And so basically not many people got to know about it, and it was quite an unknown film. Was that not the case?
No.
So this came out in 2017.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it
this
would
was
have been lockdown.
pre
Pre-Panny D.
Yeah, pre. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So this star, I say, so the similarity between this and Dune,
Yes.
is Javier Bardem.
It is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I do like that when you're giving me my homework, there's always either a character, an actor similarity, or there is there's always some kind of reason why you've given me what I've given.
Yes.
So I presume this week's reason was Javier. It also stars Jennifer Lawrence, who I am slightly too much in love with.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know why.
I mean, I like her.
She's not the most beautiful woman on the planet, but for some reason I just see her and I'm just like, you are the next Mrs. Ungar. Just
Really?
like, yeah, she just absolutely ticks.
As long as she knows, it's fine.
Yes.
Yes.
I wrote to her and told her
Good.
many times.
Good.
It also stars Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer,
It does indeed.
which is a brilliant cast,
Isn't it?
Yeah, it
and
is.
you'd think you'd see it on paper, you'd look and go, thriller, maybe a rom-com, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's how you'd think, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, the scene opens
Yes.
in a wooded area.
That's right.
And there is a really beautiful house in the middle of a clearing within the wooded area.
is.
But it's a little bit dilapidated and
A
it
bit run down.
it becomes apparent that the house has suffered a fire, and then we're introduced to Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence as a couple who are a generation or two apart.
Yep.
He is a renowned poet. Suffering from severe writer's block, so he's basically pottering around the house and trying to write and not able to write. And Jennifer Lawrence's character is basically renovating the house from scratch, like meticulously, beautifully, and like the house on the inside is starting to become
Meticulously as well, is it? She didn't really sort of...
yeah. A repeat of the word meticulously, fantastic. And so this is kind of going on, and everything's kind of calm and peaceful.
Yes.
Apart from it's not. The way that he kind of speaks to her
Yes.
is really a bit uncomfortable. And right from the offset, you kind of get a feeling that she's not a respected person, and you don't really kind of...
A tiny bit condescending almost.
There's condescension the whole way through
Yeah.
this. And so that's kind of happening. You're not going, what? That's weird. This is obviously going to be something, but I'm not
Initially,
quite
I
sure.
thought it was a bit of mansplaining. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It came across like that
oh,
initially.
You're a lady, you're a bit stupid, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and it does come
Exactly.
across a bit like that. Anyway, so they're kind
Sorry,
of
Nikki.
they're kind
No,
of
I thought he was telling me
and struggling, and it's a peaceful but this kind of slightly uncomfortable environment. Anyway, so he goes out and he
Yes.
comes back one evening,
Yes.
and he has Ed Harris with him.
That's right.
And she's just kind of like, who's this? And he's just like, I don't really know. I just found this guy and he kind of knows who I am. And then he mentions that he's a poet and he recognises him as the poet and says that he loves all his work.
Yeah.
And Javier Bardem's character is lapping it up.
Yeah.
He is loving
Yeah, the
the
attention.
attention of somebody outside of his relationship. And
But giving him attention and adoring him.
and you kind of start to think, okay, this is an ego piece. This is about Javier Bardem's ego and his need for love.
Yes.
And then so the two guys
Yes.
get on pretty well. They have a bit of a drinky drink. Ed Harris's character ends up throwing up in the toilet,
Yeah.
and
Too much drinky drink.
Jennifer Lawrence comes in to see if he's all right, and
Yeah.
Javier Bardem basically shoos her away.
Yes.
It's just kind of like, just
Be off with you,
yeah,
woman.
we don't need you here. You're
Exactly.
kind of-
We're busy.
Anyway, so she's a bit umpish about it, and
And so she should be.
yeah, and then the
For a
following
house as well, you know.
then the following day, Michelle Pfeiffer turns up,
Wow.
and she is
She's looking good, isn't she?
and not only looking good, she's acting good. She
is.
is epic. She's
Yeah.
still brilliant, isn't she?
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely fantastic.
So much better than in the Ant-Man.
Yes. Anyway, so
Yeah.
she's a bitch.
Isn't
And
she?
treats Jennifer Lawrence awfully
Yes.
and like she is shit on her shoes.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Lawrence is still just looking really confused as to why everyone's being so horrible to her.
Floaty.
Now there is a kind of a parallel line to this that there is some synergy between Jennifer Lawrence and the house, that she can feel the walls, and then there is kind of like this, and this is where the film starts getting a little bit Jamesy. She puts her hands on the walls, and there's like a heartbeat that you can kind of see as part of the house.
It's pulsating, isn't it?
Yeah, very pulsating. And
Throbbing,
and
almost.
Anyway, so as the chaos of this disrespect for Jennifer,
Yeah,
and
the
love
guests
for
are very...
Javier,
Yeah, chaos is a good word, I think, because they're very noisy. Because initially it's very calm, and when the guests arrive, it's very shouty, isn't it?
Yeah, and Michelle Pfeiffer's a bit of a slut, and she's and so then other people start arriving, and I don't want to kind of describe
Don't
too
describe
deep
every single character,
into
but
the
yeah.
film, but basically it becomes a James film at this moment. So we now know the type of film that James likes, and this is right up there.
Yes.
It basically.
He's such a good director.
So, okay, so if you think of Requiem for a Dream,
Yes.
where kind of chaos ensues, and what was the film with Joaquin Phoenix?
That's right, the Beau is Afraid.
Beau is Afraid.
That's right.
And you're looking at the outside world where there's absolute chaos and carnage. This
It's a bit like
house-
Jackass right in front of your lawn, almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The house changes from being this peaceful, place of rest and
tranquil.
tranquility.
Yes.
Exactly, that's the word I missed. Thank you very much. To the most chaotic thing you've ever seen in your entire life. People just keep turning up, and it goes from being adoration for.
You
for
haven't
Javier.
mentioned something about Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, so I haven't mentioned something about Jennifer Lawrence, which is she becomes pregnant.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And basically she's working through her pregnancy while all this chaoticness is getting more and more and more, and then more and more and more people turn
Layers
up,
and layers.
and all of a sudden it becomes massively out of hand.
Yes.
And
Almost mob rule in a way.
it's just utter chaos, and so there are now hundreds of people coming
Yes.
to the house, and they're not all very nice people.
No.
In fact, the majority of them are not nice people. Now, did you get the fact that nobody's named in this film?
That wasn't the first thing that came to mind.
So it's not a hugely important point, but when I came to write my
In
notes
retrospect.
about what was going on, they're referred to as mother, him,
Yes.
man,
Yes.
and woman.
That's right.
They're not named in this
No.
film. And then, if you go further down the cast list, they're actually named as their characters, like rather than people that they are.
Yes.
So misogynist, or that type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I found that really interesting. I thought it was a really
They're very descriptive at the moment.
Yeah,
It's
but no one has a name. Everyone just has a character type.
Yes.
But
And
the characters are listed in the end credits.
oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay, because I looked at IMDb on the to get my cast listing and everything. But yeah, so basically, Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know. Do I want to go any further?
It's an old film, so I think you can give it away. You can give...
Yeah. Spoiler alert. There you go. No, you
she
can't.
has her baby right in the throngs of the riotous chaos happening
cellar.
in the roof.
Yeah, in the roof. Well, yeah, I knew it was one of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the other one.
Yeah.
And
tail it.
and then the noise kind of stops, and actually weirdly it does stop. So there is no and the noise outside is gunshots and bombs going off,
Yes.
and it gets to that level of chaos. And then as she has the baby, I actually noticed that it was silent in the background, and I thought that's really interesting. They cut to silence.
Yeah.
And you kind of thought, well, maybe that's a good thing. That it's really not a good thing.
Not at all.
And just when you think that the film can't get any more Jamesy than it is,
James Stone's up.
James Part 2 turns up.
James the Second.
And and then it takes another twist and adds another layer of just wrongness, and then there's one more level of wrongness.
Yes.
And then it comes to a quite predictable ending.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you Google it afterwards?
No?
And so you know the premise as a whole, of what it symbolises and what it means.
No, this is the moment where you're going to blow my mind, James.
Right. Okay.
Oh, he's getting serious.
Are you ready?
Yes.
When Ed Harris
Yeah.
is in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay. You notice that he's bleeding at one point.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And you think to yourself, why is he bleeding?
Yeah.
And why is he exactly? Okay. And then you notice that what happens to the baby
Yeah.
is quite horrific.
Yeah.
Basically, the baby gets eaten.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that because I thought it'd ruin the plot.
Don't worry about that.
Baby gets eaten.
Baby gets eaten. Baby gets eaten. She gives birth, baby get, and then the crowd rushes in and eats the baby. Okay. So, the two sons
Yeah.
of
Michelle Pfeiffer and Ed Harris.
okay, right. They have massive fights, don't they?
They do.
Okay, right, good. I'm just wedging this up for you. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. So, Jennifer Lawrence
Yeah.
is Earth.
Okay.
She is the planet Earth.
Okay.
Okay. What's his name?
Javier Bardem.
Yep. I can never pronounce his name.
No, it's fine. I'll keep pronouncing it for
He is
you.
God.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
The two sons.
Yeah.
Cain and Abel.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Ed Harris,
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer, Adam and Eve.
Okay.
Okay. So she's continuously trying to fix the house.
Yeah.
Okay, she's Earth.
Yeah.
She's trying to fix the house continuously.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas Bardez is they go, let people come, it's fine, because God is like all forgiving, all giving, all whatever
And yeah, and there is a whole "we should forgive them" speech.
whatever it is. Ed Harris loses a rib in the bathroom.
Ah.
You see,
Okay.
Cain and Abel are fighting.
Yeah.
Okay. The body of Christ is eaten at the end.
Right.
That's the baby is Christ.
Okay.
You see, and the chaos is religion
Okay.
exploding.
Okay. My mind's not blown by that.
No.
To be totally honest with you.
No.
So it makes me like the film slightly less than I did.
Oh.
Which I disliked quite a lot.
Oh wow. Okay.
Anyway,
so
so-
we're at a level in already.
Yeah,
That's good.
because and I'll explain why.
Yeah,
so,
please
this,
do.
so this should have been in terms of the cast,
Yes.
and in terms of the premise of the story. I think this should have been a cracking James film, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I've watched quite a few James films
have.
now, and this was probably the least engaging of all of them.
It's very cold.
For me,
Yeah,
and,
it's not warm.
And I didn't. No, it doesn't even need to be warm. I just. It was the least enjoyable, and considering I know where we're going with
Yeah.
a lot of these films now, and what I did like, it's got nothing to do with the film. What I did like was the fact that I knew where this was going,
Yeah.
because you'd given me it as a film. And as soon as I knew that Jennifer Lawrence wasn't being treated right,
Yeah.
I was just like,
Here we
this
go.
is going dark side, and I love that. So I love the fact there is a description to this film which I didn't know. I do love that, and
Yes.
and your research and the multiple times that you watch films, it does blow my mind that the knowledge you have about the conception of a movie, and that's really important.
Yeah.
That's epic. But for me, this just didn't grab
Okay.
me. And I think the one thing about all of your films. So you made me watch Men.
Yes.
Horrific film.
Yes.
But I fell in love with Jessie Buckley,
I know.
and there's always an amazing character development in this. I didn't get that
Okay.
with this at
Good.
all, and maybe it was my lack of understanding. I don't know, but I don't think it was.
I think it's one of these movies that either you're hooked into it, you're not hooked into it. It's one of those. I think it's going to be a Marmite movie.
I found the descension to chaos annoying rather than entertaining.
Interesting. What, in the same sort of vein as Beau's Afraid?
I kind of liked Beau's Afraid.
You did,
and
didn't
and
you?
I did, and I found the uncomfortableness of Beau's Afraid
Engaging almost, isn't
really,
it?
yeah, and I didn't with this. I didn't get the same hook from this as a
Good.
film.
Okay, well, that's good- that's good to know.
Then yeah, but that's what movies about, isn't
It
it?
is
It's all about
exactly
personal
what it
taste.
is all about.
Yeah,
What mark are you going to give it?
I'm going to give this 6.5.
It's not a bad mark for you.
It's not bad,
No,
but
it's not a swim fan.
It just didn't grab me in the way that other James films have grabbed me.
Okay.
And I've got to say, you disappointed me slightly.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
It's actually got 6.6 on IMDb.
Oh, has it? Okay.
Also, Darren Aronofsky,
Yeah.
the director,
And writer.
said the exclamation point in the title is a reference to the last 30 minutes of the film.
Okay.
And Jennifer Lawrence is barefoot throughout the entire movie.
Didn't surprise me.
No, and she actually had to take a year off from making movies after working on this film because she found it quite taxing.
I can imagine.
She gets the living shit beaten out of her.
Doesn't she just?
Yeah, it's yeah. So there we go. That's my review of Mother.
Right, and if you've seen Mother at home and if you agree or disagree with Peter's comments, would you like to get in contact with us via Instagram? Or perhaps you'd like to get in contact with us via YouTube? Or send us, if you know us personally, send us a WhatsApp message.
Yeah, or more importantly, if you want to let us know what you thought about Dune 2,
Yes,
Exactly,
please.
yeah.
message us about that as well, because this is going to be in the top 10 probably for the next 20 podcasts.
Well,
so we would love
probably.
Until the
Yeah.
third,
We would
until the
love-
third instalment comes out.
we'd love to hear what your thoughts are.
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug, and
What-
thank you, Lawrence.
Yes,
what
thank
are we
you.
seeing next week, and what is Peter / everyone's homework for next week?
Well, I was hoping to go and see Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Is it Le Frankenstein?
It's on the top 10.
Exactly. And then I think I've got something else booked.
Lisa Frankenstein.
Lisa Frankenstein.
Lisa Frankenstein, which is like a comedy rom-com.
You almost went,
zombie.
didn't you?
Almost went the other night, but it was a bit late during something.
So I didn't know on the Odeon every
Yes.
whatever that if you're not going to go, you have to cancel your ticket, which
You do.
does make sense. So I got a really snotty email saying "Tut
Did
tut,
you?
Peter,"
Yes.
and I did feel quite guilty about
3
that.
strikes and you're out.
Yeah,
Apparently.
that's it. And I'm guessing we would have been the only 2 people in there.
Yeah,
but
probably.
anyway, I should have cancelled it. So apologies, Odeon Maidenhead. I will
Yes.
never do that ever again.
No, it's good because you're taking somebody else's seat at the end of the day.
But
aren't
yeah,
you?
makes perfect
Makes
sense.
perfect
but
sense.
yeah, I
Makes
thought
perfect sense. Okay, so that's top 10. That is a very long review of Dune 2 with fantastic guest reviewers, which I really do like. And then Peter's love letter to Mother, which is fantastic.
What's he got next week?
Next week, you've got a choice of either.
Uh-oh.
You've got
you
I think
pick.
I think you've seen one of them.
Okay.
I think you've seen one of them. Amelie.
Oh yeah, I've seen Emily.
Good.
Can I watch that, please?
No, you. That was your light choice.
That was testing the waters.
Second film of the connection with the second film is it is a film that you wouldn't, very similar to Jennifer Lawrence, you wouldn't expect this artist to be in this sort of movie. Mm-hmm. So that's the sort of vein that we're going down. I read this book first, and actually, for me personally, I'd usually audiobook a lot of books.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a really good book for my dyslexia. It takes a really good book for me to actually engage into it physically on a written page. Okay, I read this book back to front over like a whole weekend.
Is it the Quran?
Yeah, it's called Under the Skin. Okay, so this is a 2013 film. Now, when I heard that this person was going to be starring in this film, I thought, actually, genius casting. After reading the book, I thought, perfect. The film is a very low-key sci-fi, not quite horror, but definitely sci-fi thriller in that respect, starring Scarlett Johansson.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's an alien-esque movie based on Earth, and that's all I'm going to give you.
Cool.
It's called Under the Skin, released in 2013. If you've seen this, let us know. Get in contact with us in reference to us via Instagram and YouTube.
Or watch it this week
Yeah.
and let us know your thoughts.
It's
Exactly my
available
thoughts.
on Google Play Movies and TV, Apple TV, Curzon, and Amazon Prime Video if you have the subscription.
Nice.
Cool.
There you go.
I'll watch it on at least 2 of those.
Look on these two of those. So that's our weekly update on what's going on at the cinema.
We've been waiting for this one to come out for a long time, haven't
And I'm
we?
going to see it probably for the next 3 weeks. I'll probably watch it once a week.
Yeah, I think that's probably... You can just keep seeing it and seeing it and seeing
Yeah, because you'll see other different things in it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Lawrence and Doug. Well,
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Would you like to prepare us out? Popcorn Pundits.
Podcast.
Week.
Part 2.
Over and out.
Stop banging your pencil on your bloody